Okay, we're going to start Municipal Services Committee meeting for January the 14th. Call to order at 6:03. Present we have Alderman Fahrenwald, Alderman Mech, myself, Mr. Polstroll, Mr. Ruthenberg, Mr. Alvarez, and Ms. Harmeyer. Am I missing anyone? No? Okay. All right, are there any citizens' concerns?
Good evening. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
I'm Nancy L. Thompson at 11956 Longwood Drive. I have a concern today. I'd like to have an update on what happened on Longwood, if there was some corrective action done on Longwood regarding the flooding, water standing in the street at 120th at the end of the alley. I want to know what was done there.
As of right now, I don't think anything has been done because the weather turned cold.
Yes, some work was supposedly done. I saw some work people out there.
Can I?
Please.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, Ms. Thompson, Alderman Carr, there was work done along Longwood Drive on both of the projects in question. The resurfacing contractor went out and patched and regraded, I think 4 or 5 problem areas we identified along the edge of the pavement to get the water to flow better, and then the intersection bump out contractor and general contractor regraded the curb inlets to try to get them flowing a little better. So there has been corrective action done along Longwood Drive, and it's part of the update report I'll give you all.
Thank you so much. But if it's permissible, I'd like to see that report.
You can have a copy.
May I have a copy?
Sure.
I thank you so very much. That's as far as my citizens concerned at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. How are you? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. That's all. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Of course.
David Johnson, 2520 Union. Those who were here last week for community development, this is going to be a rehash of the same comment. So this is regarding the pedestrian accommodations crossing Western. I think there's we'll say 2 separate concerns. One of them I think is going to be hopefully much easier to address than the other. South of 127th, we have, we'll say, faded but nonetheless marked unsignalized crosswalks. And for various reasons, drivers in Illinois often, I think, forget that the law is that you are supposed to yield to any pedestrian in a crosswalk, in a marked crosswalk. So on that stretch of road, I did actually determine there's a state statute. We are authorized to put up stop here for pedestrian signs, and I'm happy to leave this with you. This is $81 each. Not a huge deal. Price-wise, these, I brought this up at Community Development because I thought it might be something suitable for the Western Avenue Business Improvement District. It was also brought up at that time that there was some discussion of pole-mounted, solar-powered, speed display or something as well, just as part of general traffic calming and making Western safer. So there's that for south of 127th. North of 127th, as near as I can tell, there's only a signalized crosswalk at 123rd, and then again at 119th, and there's not a single other, not even an unsignalized marked crosswalk. There is just no marked crosswalk. This is, to me, that's for lack of a better word, it's bordering on embarrassing, and that's really terrible pedestrian accommodations, especially for a walkable community. We really should have marked crosswalks every eighth of a mile. Even every quarter mile would be better. I know there are some challenges there with regards to the current curb configuration, and of course this is an IDOT road, so any sort of modification would probably require some coordination with them, but I do think that really should be a priority, and again, relatively low cost. So that's my concern. I'm happy to leave this with you guys, just illustrating that it is in fact $80 a sign for something that by state law we are permitted.
I'd like to add, there's 3 areas in my ward that are high pedestrian, and we have so many people that just don't have a car, and they walk across Western at Aldi's. That area.
Yeah, when you just see people standing in the middle of the
Right,
street
or they have a
and
push cart, and we have
Yeah.
some people with, that need to use wheelchairs and things of that nature. So we need something done at Aldi's. Also, I'd recommend the area of Thornton's, and also again, a slightly farther north, somewhere between First Midwest Bank and McDonald's. And those areas, you see kids running across the street, you see elderly trying to cross, and from 119th, I know, to 127th,
Yeah.
it is like a speed
Yeah.
trap every day. We
Yeah.
need to have more people and more control on the speed and the condition of the area. So I totally agree with you, and the more
Great,
the
yeah.
better.
Great, yeah, because I think, right, marking having clear crosswalks visible, and we'll say, it's been a while since I did driver's ed, maybe they just don't teach it, but, you know, I would say with the most sympathy I can possibly muster, you know, maybe sometimes people just need a nice reminder on both sides on light poles, you know, reminding them that it is state law to stop for pedestrians in the crosswalk.
Right.
So,
I also think we need more patrols.
yeah.
May I
I
add
will.
one comment? Sure, I'm sorry, go ahead, Candace.
Oh, go ahead, you can comment first.
And just, I think you may be aware, or maybe you're not, that as part of Public Safety Committee, we've been working on some speed calming questions. And we're going to schedule a public town hall kind of a thing, probably later into February. So it would be great, you know, we'll certainly hope to have you there and
Sure.
talk about that. So you're making excellent points.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Okay, I
you.
was just going to say, I can talk to Mark Miller about, you know, having the signs put up and whether he feels there would be I mean, you're saying that we have the right to do it, but he can just double check and,
Sure. Yeah, again,
Okay.
I think north of 127th, I think it's probably more involved, because any design change to the roadway, you know, putting down new paint where there wasn't paint before, that kind of thing is probably a bigger deal with getting IDOT approval.
Yeah.
But to the south, I mean, those crosswalks are marked. So, you know, the paint is faded, but, you know, they are.
and that, just so you know, that has been a problem in the past. They've painted those crosswalks 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
and almost immediately, because of the high volume of traffic, the paint, I would say, gets worn away by the end of the summer almost.
It doesn't last because of the EPA mandate of using latex paint. Years ago, it lasts a lot longer, but there is like thermoplastic and there's other products out there. But it doesn't last.
So I wanted to speak on the topic of crosswalks where the paint has faded. It looks like from certain angles there used to be a crosswalk next to the fire station going across the street to the post office, and I think there's a clear desire for pedestrian access there. That post office, you have to walk quite a distance to get to a crosswalk, and it's clear that there was one there. I was wondering if the committee would consider restoring that crosswalk. And I also wanted to bring up, since you mentioned it, Alderman Mech, I know it's not for this committee, but I do often wonder in a city that claims not to have money to fix the roads, why we don't have more traffic enforcement on Western and specifically on 127th near the high school where there's a hill, where there's a lot of kids walking to and from school. I want to bring this up with public safety, but there's always cars speeding there. It's a school. I don't understand why our police aren't there ticketing people, and it seems to me that with the amount of speeding that goes on in this town on Western and 127th alone, that we should be able to raise a lot of money if our police were to get out there and conduct any kind of ongoing enforcement. And I want to know also why we can't have speed traps.
Okay, can I have your name?
Sorry, Anita Kinney.
Anyone else?
My name is Rachel Roscoe, and I wanted some information about the streets. I don't think it was City Works. I believe, I don't know who it was. Last week when we had a lot of rain, it was, I thought it snowed at first because I could hear the truck going down the street about before 7 in the morning or around 7. And I didn't think nothing of it. I said, well, it snowed. They're out there on the job. But I went outside about before 8, and I know it was a snow truck. There wasn't any snow out there, and what it was doing was pushing water into the drains. And I just wanted to know, will that be the protocol for Longwood Drive? Is that the solution that they have, to take a snow truck and push water into the drains? The only thing I'm concerned about is that for the first time, and I've been living there for almost 40 years, we have good streets on Longwood. And a snow truck that's not pushing snow could easily tear up the street. So I was wondering, is this the way they decide to solve the problem that we have of the flooding? Because I don't think that'll work. It'll work, but then it'll tear up the street. And also, I'm on the corner, and they removed the grate that had the concrete in it, but now it's a big hole. It's like, I don't know if you saw that movie, It. Well, you expect to look down there and see a clown down there because it's spooky. So, that's my question.
How does the truck push along?
They,
Sewer grates were ordered. We try to knock out the concrete out of the grates, and the grates broke on us.
okay.
So we ordered the grates just didn't come in, so probably we'll pick them up and put them in. There is barricades over it right now, but the sewer grates have to be ordered. Like I said, we tried to knock out the concrete and then they the grate and the break. So that's on the northeast corner of the northwest, southwest corner.
Was that City Works that was pushing the water and the sewages with the snow?
I was out there with my truck and my shoveling some of those holes over the truck that the water off the pavement.
Okay.
And some of those inlets that the water's supposed to go, there's some leaves and debris and whatever.
Oh, okay.
So, but other than that, I'm not sure what
Yeah, that's what I saw. Okay, thank you.
my truck.
Thank you.
It wasn't a city truck, because I looked for the name, Blue Island. It was a big black truck, but I don't know who it belonged to. Okay,
But I was out there myself, trying to do somewhere about it.
all right.
Thank you.
Good evening, Alan Stevo. I'm referring to the January 2020 newsletters that were sent out in the water bills. And it says here that the reconfiguration of Irving Avenue between New Street and Vermont will be changed to only northbound traffic. And with the rebuilding of New Street, more people will probably like to use it going southbound. It's so convenient dropping people off at the train or being picked up. And it's a convenient way of going. Now, Gregory Street's one way, Western is one way. It'd be good to keep this two ways just to help fight congestion. And I'd like to have the committee look into that and try to keep it two ways.
On New Street, where they just repaved.
Not New Street, Irving Avenue. They're talking about changing it to northbound. But it's very, was there any studies done on how many people actually use it going southbound daily?
Did? Mr. Elvis?
Yes, so to answer your question, yes, there were. We did traffic counts last year as part of that project, and it's minimal. It's under 900 vehicles per day use Irving Avenue, according to our traffic counts. And as far as changing, I just want to figure out, at least let you know the thinking behind changing the traffic flow. Basically, two reasons. Number one, because right now there's no sidewalks that run through. The sidewalk's disconnected at that location. A lot of people use it to get to and from the metro. So there were two reasons to look at changing the traffic flow. One was because there's no room to fit a sidewalk in there and two-way traffic because of the narrowing at the railroad. And the other one is due to the configuration of the train gates. Basically, the train gates in their current configuration, basically you can turn southbound into a train without encountering any traffic control devices for the railroad. So those were the two reasons why.
Thank you. And it seems that 900 cars using that the southbound daily. It's enough reason to keep it two ways. But thank you.
Okay, I think that's all as far as citizens go. Public Works, Jim?
Hey, good evening. So anyway, on the report, we used 10 ton of coal patch in the month of December. 22 streetlights were repaired, 8 ComEd streetlights were reported. 76 20-yard dumpsters of bulk waste was removed. We had 9 snow calls. Actually, we just had number 11 yesterday. And then we did our water testing every first and second Tuesday of the month. And then meter reading. And then we've replaced 4 water meters. And then 13 ECRs were moved or repaired. Final readings were 36. Water turn-ons were 15. Water turn-offs were 19. And recheck water off was 9. And 26 meter inspections. Any questions?
One question. Jim, I don't know if this is for you or Eric. Where are we on the possibility of replacing the streetlights with LEDs?
I know Mike Marzell was working on a
Yeah.
program, and that kind of, I think, fell off after he's gone, so I'm not sure where it's at.
And I'm asking in part because there's just a lot of lights out in the city. I know you're replacing them as fast as you can, but what I guess I'm wondering is, my question I guess is around how long might it be before we do that, because that would obviously solve that problem. But if we are not looking at replacing with LEDs in the near future, kind of what do we need to do to get more streetlights on? Because there's a lot of them that are out these days.
I'm not running the program, so, I don't,
Okay.
yeah, I don't have an answer for that.
Okay. That's just a concern.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great program.
Yeah, I do.
But-
See it happen.
Yeah, I'm not running it.
All right, we'll push forward from this end then.
How's your staffing level right now?
We're doing okay. Yeah, so far. We hired, I think back in November, we hired 3 guys on.
Great.
So we're good for the winter. Thank you. Good?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then under Public Works, we have an ordinance for no parking on Florence. Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Steal this from you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And we've got a handicap parking request for 12507 Maple.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Betty, want to give your water department report?
Okay. This past month, well, this would have been from December 1st to December 31st. We have payment plans were begun, 11 of them. Amount collected from that amount was $2,793. Homes sold with a water balance, and this would have included from November because we didn't have that accessible because of the computer situation at that time. And there were 30 from November 1st to December 31st, resulting in $7,049.84 collected. We were able to disperse 104 red tags, and the amount collected from that was $27,544.52. 5 payment plans resulted from the red tags, and we have 6 offs from that. In the meantime, those could have been paid, but at the time this was created, there were 6. We have payment plans paid off, 10 at $3,136.48. And I send out letters when they are delinquent, but have paid something, but continue to be delinquent. And I received from that 14 letters were addressed, and $2,912.24 was turned in. So the total to the city at this point with that particular situation is $43,436.08.
Okay, I just, do you remember, Betty, when you first took over the water department collections, what the balance, that total outstanding, wasn't it around 300,000?
It was way over.
It was, yeah. So I just wanted to commend you on a
Okay, thank you.
great job.
Thank you.
Because we're down now to $43,000.
Well, this is what we've collected from that. So we still have a delinquency amount. I think we will always continue to have a delinquency amount because we have many residents who feel that that is just, until they get a red tag, they don't act upon that. So that creates a delinquency right off the bat. We do have a higher rate of delinquency right now, way lower than when I came on. But this is what we collected by the process of red tags, letters, and even people that just come in, they know they've fallen behind. It's sometimes a job loss, or there's many reasons. And so we talk and figure out some kind of plan and what will work for them. So.
Well, thank you, Betty.
You're welcome.
Mr. Jackson?
First, I would like to thank everyone who participated in our annual Christmas event at the Rec Center. On your forms, I've listed everyone who participated and donated to the event. And once again, thanks Alderman Thompson, Ms. Rochelle, Alderman Mech, and Alderman Carr for their support for this event, and along with others, elected officials and residents and business of Blue Island. My biggest thing this evening is regarding Mr. Gabriel and the soccer club event. They practice on Fridays. At this time, I do not know, should I suspend them, because as of today, Madam Chairman, Corporate Counsel has not contacted me regarding that matter.
Okay, just so you know, I did email Kelly Burke.
Beg your pardon?
I emailed Kelly Burke, the city attorney,
Yes.
and I asked for her guidance on this. She said she was going to contact you
Okay.
and get some more information from you.
Yes.
So we'll let her follow through on that.
So this Friday.
I'm hoping she gets back to us by then, yeah.
Thank you.
Just so everyone knows, it's a soccer club?
Yes.
It's a soccer club that's been using the rec center.
They've been independent for some time, and the gentleman normally supplying them with the insurance is in Mexico at this time, and they stated there he should be back at the end of the month. So hopefully by February, they should have all the documents. The application is on file, and only thing is they have expired insurance. So.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any report for the golf course? No? Okay. And Mr. Alvarez?
Thank you, Alderman. So I got a couple of different things to go through with you all today. I guess the first I'd like to do is Alderman Mech and I together inspected the site of the Longwood Drive Rain Gardens with regards to having the landscaped switch to sodding for easier maintenance, for better safety, and for, I guess, better health reasons. We drafted a letter together. I think we've gone over this,
Yes.
I think, now 2 times. So the letter's sort of been continuously adapted now. I think we've got something we could definitely send to the district. We've done our site inspection, and so if the committee is in agreement, then I think we could have this sent out to the district and see what they say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Great, Alderman. So I'm going to finalize this and email it to you, and we'll get it sorted out.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, great. That's the first one. Thank you. Second one, I have a proposal from Geocon, our sister company, to do an underground investigation at the, we call it the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot, the parking lot at Vermont and Rexford, between Western and Rexford. I don't know how familiar you all are with it, but it has some pretty severe pavement distress. There's a lot of heaving, and in order to, Community Development asked us to look at repairing that lot because there's some funding available through the parking lot fund to fix it. So in order to actually determine what we need to do, we need to drill through and determine what's causing that heaving. So Geocon gave us a proposal. We went out there on site with them to drill six holes 10 feet deep to help us, number one, put together a educated cost estimate for what the cost of the repair would be, and then number two, assuming that the costs are within our budget, to put together a design. We'll need this to do the design. So that's what the proposal is. It's to go on site with a truck-mounted drill rig, drill 6 holes, 10 feet deep, all the associated testing, and a very informal report that's going to help us, number one, develop a cost estimate, and number two, do the design. And the cost of that is $59.80. So Community Development asked us to pass that along to you all, and if you're in agreement with that, then I suppose we would move that to Finance.
Do you know,
Yes, Alderman?
do you know if those funds would come out of the general fund or out of the tax, business tax fund?
I believe, so I know there's 2 funding sources available in addition to the general fund, and I know when we talked to the Community Development Committee about this, that their intention was to either use the business district fund, the parking lot fund, or both, but not the general fund.
Great, good, thank you.
You know, Eric, excuse me, I'm looking over this bid and I'm doing it quickly.
Okay.
My biggest concern is here they're going to do the drill, right?
Right.
Drill 6 quart.
Yep.
I don't see that they're going to restore that.
Oh, restoration's part of the, I don't know if it's specifically listed in here,
I would
but
like to see that in
Sure.
their contract.
it should be listed in there. They don't just leave the boreholes open.
Will be filled with auger cuttings.
Okay, I was looking at their total billing, so I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. It's
But
not part of the, it doesn't, I don't know if you call it factor, it doesn't get itemized
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the,
yeah.
but it
I
does.
just want to make
does-
sure it's brought back to the same standard.
For sure. So
It's going to be a while before anything's done, it could be months.
it gets really backfilled with the auger cuttings, and then they typically just tamp down kind of like rapid mix cement into the holes. So it's like it's a temporary, the boreholes are also this
Do they
big.
need to coordinate with Public Works for any barricades or anything like that?
I wouldn't think so. They can set up their own traffic control and typically do. We would coordinate with the property, with the business, and we would coordinate with Public Works, but they wouldn't be involved in, they would not need to be unless they wanted to be involved in traffic control or anything like that. Geocon does their own traffic control. Okay, so that's number 2, and then,
Okay, let's just say we agreed to this, so if you want to bring this, send it on to Finance.
if we could send that, yep,
Yes,
and I can
please.
coordinate that through to Finance if you all are on board with that.
And that's the only bid we have.
Yeah, so this, I don't know if you'd call it a bid. This is our sister company, so this is our estimate, our quote for the work. But yes, that's the only, if you want to call it a bid, that's the only bid you have. Okay, last on the list is just a little bit of an update from our ongoing construction projects. So, Irving Avenue and Rexford Street, which was paved last year, was developing some cracking along the center line joints, which the contractor has come back and fixed. The northeast neighborhood, as we were discussing earlier, deconstruction was in charge of the resurfacing project, came out and patched and regraded in the 4 or 5 spots that we had jointly inspected with Public Works. Public Works removed the filter fabric from the inlets. As Jim discussed, we tried to get the concrete out of the inlet grates, but they cracked when we tried to get it out, so they have ordered new ones. And we have the Antero Group came out and regraded the curb inlets at the in-street bump outs. And we talked about the draft letter, the MWRD. Other than that, most of these projects we've discussed before. New Street is all but done. We had our final inspection this week. There's a little bit of finishing work to do in the spring, but it is mostly complete. And our 2020 roadway projects have been surveyed and are in preliminary design.
I had just kind of miscellaneous question about New Street. There's a fairly substantial a railing kind of that goes down the hill.
Yep.
I was just curious why it was put up.
So the handrail was put there to help pedestrians, because of the steep slope of the hill on New Street, just to help pedestrians, mainly in icy conditions like now, because with that slope, even though it's within American with Disability Act's guidelines to have a slope that steep, because that's the geography of that hill, we still felt that just as a practical thing, it would help to hang on in case of icy conditions.
Good, I just would like to know in case I'm missing, so thank you.
Okay.
Eric, earlier Alderman Fahrenwald asked about the streetlights, and I noticed here you've got a streetlight modernization project.
Oh, yes, thank you. I meant to bring that up and forgot. Thank you. So the streetlight modernization project, I think the way Jim described it was really accurate. So we have done actually a lot of work on this project. We've inventoried all the lights. Public Works inventoried all the lights. We've done all the initial coordination we need to do with ComEd, and I think just kind of due to some staff changes and things going on, the project's came off a little bit, but Community Development Committee last week expressed interest in continuing the project. It sounds like you are the same, so we would be happy to continue the coordination of the project, and also think it's important and would be helpful for everybody. So.
Yeah, I would encourage you to do everything possible to move that along. There's a lot of lights out in the city. Obviously, we're going to save energy. There's all kinds of benefits. That would be great to get that moving along.
Right, I understand and agree completely.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
You're welcome, thank you.
Are there any alderman concerns other than what we've discussed? No. Okay, motion to adjourn. Alderman Fahrenwald. Alderman Mech?
Yep.
Okay, meeting adjourned at 6:26. No, 6:36. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.